After the Hazbin Hotel finale, I think we're all expecting Alastor to hit his breaking point very soon in the upcoming second season. For being depicted as this all-powerful being, Alastor sure seems to be in quite the rut, especially after his defeat to Adam. And you know what his journey has reminded me of? That's right, a guess that nobody could have made: Prince Zuko from Avatar the Last Airbender. Okay, now hear me out before you click off this video. Hazbin Hotel, while an entertaining show, suffered a lot from the inconsistent and quick pacing in season 1. However, one point that they managed to get across successfully is that Alastor is one powerful sinner that still has many tricks up his sleeve. He keeps to himself and is quite a loner at times. He loathes the idea of not being in control and wants to project a certain image of himself that others are afraid of. On top of this, he is also shown to be scared of having friends, or at the very least, he fears having someone worth dying for. This is because he thinks that attachments are a weakness that need to be cut off. All this remind you of someone yet? Someone that needs to capture the Avatar to restore their honor? Yeah, I'm sure Zuko will go down in history as one of the most complex characters in all of fiction. His inner turmoil is not just written to perfection but showcased just the same. He goes from being this annoying nuisance that hunts down the main cast to a villain that we actually start to care for and feel sorry about, despite the fact that he is, well, a villain. And then rolls in season 2, where we start to see this redemption arc that Zuko experiences. Now more than ever do we sympathize the most with his character. At that point, the audience is probably rooting for Zuko more than the core 4. This is because we constantly get to observe the mental and physical hurdles he has to overcome. And don't get me wrong, all of the cast have their own demons to face. Like, this motherfucker literally lost the entirety of his people to genocide. However, out of all the characters, Zuko is the one that has to face his demons the most throughout the show, since his core principles are so fundamentally flawed regarding what he believes and who he thinks he is. And you know what the icing on the cake is that really tops off Zuko's eventual redemption? It's the fact that he relapses at the end of season 2. Zuko symbolically gives up his blue spirit mask and comes out of that experience as a new man. Like, the dude literally almost dies after doing one good deed. After that, he even learns to be vulnerable with Katara in Ba Sing Se, and it seems like he's almost completely ready to redeem himself. Then he relapses and goes back to his old and hateful ways. That is one of the most relatable actions of all. At one point you feel like you're on top of the world, and then in the next, reality comes crashing down and you're left to stare at the failure in the mirror who almost had it all, yet messed it up as if they had nothing to begin with. It isn't until Zuko finally achieves all that he wants that he really starts to question whether he was the one that even wanted it all in the first place. Are your dreams really your own? It's a difficult question, but one that should be thought of at least once in your life. Okay, now finally going back to Alastor from Hazbin Hotel, tell me that what we see in season 1 aren't the seeds of doubt and conflict being planted within Alastor's mind. Like I previously mentioned, Alastor and Zuko do share a lot of similarities, and one of those happens to be how these characters' respective shows go to great lengths in exploring their deteriorating mental state. So what's the point of all of this, you may ask? Fine, they seem alike, whatever, you must be thinking. Well, all I'm trying to do is paint a picture of how I think Alastor's character arc could and should be handled in the show. Given his current trajectory and desperately wanting to rid himself of his strings, it sets him up as the perfect antagonist that would betray the rest of the cast for his own survival. Similar to Zuko with Katara when they first became allies, I think the show is setting up Alastor to gain everyone's trust throughout season 1 and 2, only for him to go behind their backs when need be. This could possibly happen during the season 2 finale mayhaps. However, the twist here is that not only is the cast growing close to Alastor, but Alastor is growing closer to the cast. This means that when Alastor does end up backstabbing his friends, he'll feel bad. Let's face it, if Alastor really is this masterful manipulator that the show tells us he is, then he wouldn't fail at getting what he wants. Or rather, he wouldn't fail at getting what he thinks he wants. Get where I'm going with this? By the end of season 2, Alastor should be able to attain all that he is after. This could be through numerous ways, such as using Charlie's deal or just using Charlie and the gang altogether. Regardless, the point is that Alastor climbs to the top of the mountain and then realizes that no one else is there to stand beside him. Normally, this wouldn't bother Alastor whatsoever, but now he feels weird because he misses his friends. Now the audience must bear witness as Alastor finally confronts his underlying demons. Get it? As much as Alastor hates to admit it, he really did become fond of these wayward sinners. This is when Alastor could reject the power he's gotten and instead return to help his friends in their quest. It wouldn't be easy though, seeing as how he would need to earn their trust again. This would then make him strive to be the best version of himself, once again following in Zuko's footsteps. If the plot goes in this direction, not only will it be the most satisfying conclusion for Alastor's character, but the audience will be appeased as well, because right now there's a huge debate going on as to whether Alastor serves the plot better as a villain or a hero. Well, why not both? Zuko shows us how that is indeed possible, and if someone else were to go down that same path, it would most certainly be Alastor. Personally, I think that what I've laid out is the most logical conclusion that the writers should take. Not only do we get the best of both worlds, but it would really make Hazbin Hotel all that more iconic if they made the most beloved character even more compelling in his character progression. With how Alastor is shown to be both manipulative and yet clearly caring all the same, no one can disprove of the connections he shares to Zuko. Alastor and Zuko are two sides of the same coin, and I'd like to see their paths converge just a little bit more as Hazbin Hotel carries on. With that, be sure to check out this other Hazbin Hotel video where I rewrite the first season. Until next time, this has been Vexodus, and see ya.